Level up your listening with Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds and headphones with immersive sound and world-class noise cancellation for a not-so-silent night. Visit Bose.com/Spotify to shop sound that's more than a present.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you're listening to, you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 184 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And before we get to this week's guests, Sasha Sirota and Jason Paul from GXTP, I want to remind you about all of the holiday shopping that you can do in the shop at mistresscarrie.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, beanies, baseball hats and visors, pint glasses, shot glasses, coffee mugs, coasters, a 7-in-1 bartender tool, sticker packs, guitar picks, pens, koozies, mouse pads, even a bag that meets all the criteria to bring into concerts and sporting events. There's so many things for the Mistress Carrie fan on your shopping list in the online store at mistresscarrie.com. Earlier this year, I was in Vegas at a rock radio convention, and they showed us a video from a new band called GXTP. It stands for Guns and Toilet Paper, an obvious reference to the hoarding during the pandemic. The video, a parody of the film Tropic Thunder, features a cameo appearance by the one and only Tommy Lee, and it is hilarious. Well, I had to meet the guys that were behind Guns and Toilet Paper, otherwise known as GXTP. And it's none other than Sasha Sirota and Jason Paul, otherwise known as Poo Bear, who together, along with their bandmate Triple Sixx, make up GXTP, but they also have an unbelievable roster of artists from all genres that they have engineered, produced, and written for. Artists like Justin Bieber, Pink, 112, Usher, Steven Tyler, Pitbull, Dolla Sign, Yelawolf, Drake, the Zac Brown Band, and so many more. I caught up with Sasha and with Jason to talk about their musical upbringing, their songwriting style, what it was like to work with Tommy Lee, whether or not Paul McCartney is in fact an alien, and why tequila is probably going to get us all thrown in jail. Their new album, Smoke and Mirrors, is available now, so allow me to introduce you to Sasha Sirota and Jason Paul from GXTP. Well, I have been waiting for this interview for a while because I need to know all about guns and all about toilet paper. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
For anybody that's listening, please introduce yourselves. And I only ask that because I need to know what you want me to call you.
Okay.
I'm Jason Paul.
Yep. I'm Sasha Sirota.
Okay,
and,
so just Jason and Sasha is good.
Yeah. Yep, Jason is totally fine. Yep.
I know when you have nicknames and whatever, people ask me all the time, do you want me to call you Mistress? I'm like, no, Carrie's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome to call me Satchmo. Some people do that.
I heard you guys for the first time earlier this year at a rock radio convention in Vegas. And they had a room full of radio people and they played the video for Contraband with Tommy Lee. And so we're all sitting in there watching this video, and for a bunch of radio people that weren't caffeinated in the morning in Vegas to laugh that much, I was like, okay, there's something to this.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
awesome.
You're the first person that we've talked to that was actually there. I'm so happy to hear that. It's incredible.
I was there, and you guys know how Vegas can be, right? You're up way too late, and then when somebody tries to get you out of bed before 1 PM, you're like, it better be for a good reason, and it was. That video is freaking hilarious.
Thank you so much. Yeah. As fun as it is to watch, it was twice as fun to make, believe me.
Yep,
Well,
absolutely.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So being on the air in Boston for as long as I have, I've had several run-ins with Tommy Lee in all of his musical incarnations.
Yes.
And so I know how he can be when the cameras and the microphones are on, but I also know how he can be when they're off.
Right.
Right.
Did he take those famous pictures that broke the internet while he was filming these videos? Did he keep it in his pants while he was with you guys?
We can neither confirm nor deny any allegations brought toward our friend Tommy Lee, is what our lawyers told us to say.
Oh,
Yep, that's it. The fifth.
Yeah.
Yep, we're pleading the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did you guys grow up Motley Crue fans? So was it weird for you being there with him? Did you know him before? I have so many questions.
I mean, not like Motley Crue fans jamming it every day or anything. Definitely Motley Crue appreciators, or at least from my angle. For absolutely, I mean, and who doesn't love Tommy Lee? I feel like of course he's the drummer of Motley Crue and he's done amazing things like that, but he's just transcended it too, as far as just his celebrity and his persona and his rock stardom. And I mean, who's not a fan of Tommy Lee? And Motley Crue is legendary, of course.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to work with Tommy Lee, and just because he's an icon and what it's crazy enough. Like I remember him more than I remember the lead singer of Motley Crue. So it says a lot about him, being that star power in the group. So it was an honor to work with him, and I wish I could say that I knew him before, but we didn't. We just met him, in the studio when we recorded the record.
It felt like we knew him for years. He's just got such a warm personality and such a childlike enthusiasm about what he's doing to this day.
Probably a good thing that you met him in his older years, because the stories I've heard about the Crue heyday in the 80s, you may not have survived.
Oh, yeah. We heard some of the stories. Yep, we've seen the documentaries. Yes,
yep.
It was
I think
tough.
It's crazy, wild that he survived.
Right?
Yes, that he's still going. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I asked about Contraband and the video with Tommy Lee because that was my first exposure to you guys. And when we were in Vegas and they were setting up the video, they were like, look, this is a little bit different. You guys got up in the morning for a good reason, but we're going to preface this because it's a little bit different. And when they told us that the name of the band was GXTP, in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, GXTP. But then they told us it stood for Guns and Toilet Paper. And I was like, I need to know everything. So can you guys start at your kind of musical upbringing so that we can get to the point where you guys form the band? Like, where are you guys both from?
Sasha, where are you from?
I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm from the Breaking Bad of the country.
I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, which is also a pretty poor city in America. So both of us come from the dirt, from the gutter. I call it.
Yeah, we both came from some pretty wild places, and I'm sure that it has informed our music and our decisions in ways that we can probably not even explain fully. But we met actually in Vegas, and that was in 2010, and we've done a lot of great things and great work together and grown together in a lot of ways. And rock was kind of something that was, I don't know, it was an avenue we hadn't gone down before. So it was a natural place to end up at some point, I suppose.
Well, I don't know how the pizza is in New Mexico, but being in Massachusetts, I know how good the pizza is in New Haven. That's right.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, New Haven is a pizza place. Now, I'm going to be honest, Orange County, New Jersey has an amazing pizza called Star Tavern that's life-changing. I'm just going to plug Star Tavern. I don't own it. I have no percentages of stock.
We are not sponsored.
I'm not a sponsor, but Star Tavern gives New Haven Pizza a run for its money.
Really?
Yes, go to Star Tavern. It will change your life forever. Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't go to Albuquerque for the pizza. No, you'll be underwhelmed. But the green chili, shit.
Yeah, that's
chili.
Put green chili on everything. Put green chili on a Big Mac.
I think in New England, at least I didn't grow up with an affinity for hot food. So as I expand and try new things, I have learned that I don't have a tolerance for hot peppers.
Oh, yeah. Now, most people don't. Yeah.
True. Yeah. I feel you. I mean, I don't like my food to hurt me either. I'm a sensitive guy, but there's flavor to it too. There's levels to it. And definitely I'm not trying to be in pain either. So I feel you.
I spend so much time talking to musicians, and I have a theory about your musical upbringing, that there's the music you get exposed to as a kid without a choice. Your parents, the cool uncle, older siblings, next door neighbors, whatever. And then there's a line in the sand in your adolescence where you discover something on your own and say, okay, this is what I like. And from then on, your musical journey is different. So what did you guys grow up listening to? What was the soundtrack to your childhood? And then what was it that defined your musical taste in your adolescence? What was the first thing that you discovered on your own?
Wow, what a fantastic question.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, my mom was playing music all the time, from Peter Gabriel to Tracy Chapman and Led Zeppelin and that kind of stuff. And then I got into Nirvana and Green Day is like what got me playing guitar. And then I started playing death metal when I was like 13, 14 on the drums, because it was really just me trying to find the most challenging thing I could find. And that also led me to playing flamenco guitar. So it's kind of all over the place. And then I started making pop music and whatever else I could that just seemed challenging. I used to think when I would play metal, I'd be like, oh, pop music's super easy. I could do that shit. And then I started to try, and it's its own challenge as well. So yeah, I just fell in love with every kind of music after that point. It was interesting. And then I met Jason, it helped me expand on that. And then I think your story in that realm is pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, so contrary to Sasha, I wasn't allowed to listen to music as a kid because my dad was a really tough preacher and my mom was super religious. So I used to listen. I was only allowed to listen to Christian trumpeter music, like no lyrics, just music with trumpet. And so when my father left, I was like 8. They got a divorce, and then we went through a lot and ended up moving to Atlanta. And I think my mom felt bad that her and my dad split up, so she allowed me to listen to the radio. And I was 12 when I first started, when I was actually able to listen to the radio. And I got into Nirvana. I got into Alanis Morissette heavy. I got into 4 Non-Blondes. And Oasis, so those were projects and bands that inspired me, that even opened me up to want to do a project like Guns and Toilet Paper. I've always wanted to make rock records that could actually, resonate and touch the world. So that was like, I got into the music a bit older, but it definitely inspired me to want to do rock, just because we've kind of done most of the genres, and rock was the one genre that we hadn't tackled yet. So it was like a challenge for me, and we're brutally honest. So to be able to do an album that we're brutally honest about and that we genuinely love was like magical, to be a part of it.
There's so much great church music, so many great choirs, and just so much amazing.
Yeah.
And you didn't get that good church music. I feel bad.
Trumpets. Yeah, it wasn't the normal, typical soul Baptist. New Haven is like, New Haven. So it wasn't like the South. The South had all like the big choirs in Chicago, and so in New Haven it was just like real, blessed be the rock, real wholesome church music that really was I was allowed to listen to trumpeter music, and they just didn't want me to be influenced in any type of way lyrically. So, and I think it helped me. I think it helped me not just create a sound that nobody can compare my sound to. They can't say, oh, that sounds like nobody, because I was not influenced by anybody growing up. So it forced me to create a sound, and it took years and years and years to, program the universe with that sound. But thanks to artists like Justin Bieber, it helped a lot. Justin helped a lot with that. So
yeah,
I was right on with that ride with me. So I think rock was like the natural progression, just to tackle it. Never done it before, and I'm like, let's just do this album. And we did it. I feel like, and I love it genuinely, or
absolutely.
I wouldn't be a part of it.
I think that there has to be something about the way that you grew up listening to like the trumpet stuff that baked into your head and like got you just so good at writing melodies. I mean, of course, I know it took you a while to get to where you wanted to get with it, but like,
but trumpet is the top line. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, plus, when you finally were allowed to put the radio on, you stumbled into a high point in rock radio.
Yes, like the early 90s, I felt like, I didn't get a chance to hear it before that, but I felt like it connected, it resonated with me so much. I'm like, wow, like I never thought I would listen to music outside of like hip hop or what was like typical, was expected of me to listen to. So it was like my escape from like what people thought I was supposed to listen to, which was like rap records. So definitely inspired me, and I've always wanted to. One day, hopefully, I can work with Alanis Morissette. One day, I got a chance to be interviewed by 49 Blondes. I hate that I forget the lead singer's name, but I finally did get a chance
Linda
to talk
Perry, the producer.
Linda, yes, I finally had a chance to talk to her. She interviewed me on her podcast, so that was an honor, and it's an honor to work with Tommy Lee. It's awesome just to be able to work with a legend and other legends in that field.
It's so crazy that the 90s is now looked back at as this prolific time in rock music. But when it was happening, obviously when grunge hit, Nirvana changed everything, and that 80s kind of, glam over the top rock music kind of ended. I just don't think when we were living in it, we understood exactly how groundbreaking that music was going to be. And now that younger generations are looking at it as classic rock, which hurts my soul a little bit.
It makes us a little bit older,
But when you go back now and look at it in retrospect, and you realize like the titans of rock music that came out of the early and mid 90s.
Yeah.
We really did have an amazing time in music, and you just happen to stumble on the radio and just get hit with this wall of unbelievable rock.
Yes.
Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And the names that you dropped was just like, you hit like 4 just like huge ones. I was like, oh my God, yes, those. Wow, yeah.
They changed. They definitely changed the direction of rock music. I feel like and I didn't know what rock was before, but now when I listen and I see those old videos with the leg on, with the tights and the makeup on, I was like, they ended up getting into the rock music that I felt like definitely shaped and the future of rock in the early 90s. It definitely it set a precedent. It raised the bar extremely high. So even records like Accusation, it reminds me of like Oasis, Nirvana, like real chord progressions and simple and effective, meaningful lyrics and melodies that actually, you know, resonate with people. So definitely feel like I stumbled upon the right rock at the right time to be inspired the right way.
There seems to be a trend with musical ability, which obviously my ancestors did not possess because I didn't get it. My clarinet playing in high school started and ended my musical journey. Do you guys come from musical families? Does it run in the family?
No, not for me.
No,
I mean, like I said, my mom played a lot of music like on the stereo, but no, I mean, me and my brother got into it together, but before us, there wasn't anybody.
Yeah, nobody in my history.
When did you realize you could write songs? When did you realize this was something you could actually do? Because I've tried to do it, and you can either do it or not, and I can't.
Well, I think that though you would be surprised. I think it's also about just having the will to suck at it for long enough until you're good at it.
You gotta fail a lot. You gotta fail. You gotta get all the whackness out of your system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like the way I feel like you do it. And I feel like more people would do it if they were able to like hear themselves like suck, appreciate the failure, appreciate it not being great, and just be honest enough to grow. And that's it. And honest enough to keep doing it until you really genuinely, honestly like what you're doing. Sometimes that could be 10 years. And I think 10 years is that threshold of like kind of mastering a sound somewhat. So people give up usually before they are able to develop. But I feel like I didn't come from a musical background. My dad is tone deaf. My dad has no rhythm. My mom never sang at all. So I just kind of forced it. And I knew I sucked when I was trying. Like I knew it. I was like, this is garbage. But I just had to get all the garbage out enough to where I was like, I actually started to like my voice, and I actually started to like some of the original compositions that I was doing. So most people give up a little bit too early. You got to get all the whackness out of your system.
Obviously, there's still so much suck left in me because every time I try, it just doesn't work.
No, you got to try it. I bet if you went in the studio with us, we could do a song with you in a heartbeat.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know what? If you could make me sound good, that you get a Grammy just for trying.
I love a challenge, man. I would love to go
improved.
Yes.
So before you guys met in Vegas in 2010, can you talk me through your individual kind of musical careers? Because you mentioned like Justin Bieber. I don't want to let that slip by. So like what were you guys doing before you bumped into each other in Vegas?
I was writing. I ended up co-writing my first hit when I was 16, when I was in high school, for a group called 112 that was signed to Bad Boy, signed to Puffy. My cousin discovered that group, and I started writing songs when I was 11, 12 years old, writing in my neighborhood, putting together kids groups. I was inspired by ABC, Crisscross, the other kids groups at that time. And my cousin was like, when I finally got 15, he was like, you can make money writing songs. So he was like, I'll put you with 112. He said, if they like you, maybe they'll write with you. And then we ended up, creating one hit together called Anywhere. We could do it anywhere. And then we went on, I went on to do songs like Peaches and Cream and Dance With Me and other big records. And then from there, I just kept, I ended up working with Usher and Jill Scott and Chris Brown. And then they got to Justin Bieber. I met Justin Bieber in Vegas once again, and in Las Vegas at a party, like a private birthday party. And then that turned into Journals, Purpose, and Changes, which I had the honor of writing those 3 albums. And Sasha along with me came on and worked with a lot of records on Justin Bieber as well. And Sasha had his own journey because we met. He was engineering. I mean, of course, he could play every instrument, but when I met him, he was engineering. And who would have ever known that one day we'd be in a rock band, one day doing videos and performing and stuff. But it's an amazing journey, man. And I'm blessed to be able to have worked with the artists and for them to believe in me enough to give me confidence to do stuff like Guns and Toilet Paper. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a little baby history of my journey.
Right. And I mean, shit, to be honest, as far as careers go, I didn't really have a music career before we met. I had a musical journey, but I didn't have songs placed with artists. I didn't have any of that because I grew up in a band. You know, I got my first guitar when I was 6 years old and my drum set when I was 8. And I started a band with my brother that lasted until I was about 19. We went to Musicians Institute in Hollywood for our instruments. So I went for percussion, and we were in a band that was never going to go anywhere. And I stuck in it till the wheels fell off. And I didn't really even start singing until we couldn't find a singer for our band. And that's why I started. And so I was writing music, but it was really just for myself, for, you know, to see what would happen. And then I met Jason, and he had already had such an established career and liked some of what I was doing in my engineering. And so we kind of just built from there, but you know, it didn't really have a career until then.
When I was growing up watching, ironically, like Motley Crue videos, I saw the engineer in the studio with the big control board and on MTV. And I thought that's what I want to do when I was in high school. And I couldn't find a place to go to college for that. So I went for communications, and I thought if I can go through like the radio program and all of that, I'll learn how to edit audio. But my dream was to be an engineer. And my first year of college, I did an internship at a recording studio in Massachusetts. And we spent the summer recording a 27-piece mariachi band. And I was tasked with moving the microphone for the maraca. And I was like, this is not Motley Crue.
Like, I'm never doing this again.
This is not what I want to do. So sometimes it's not knowing what you want, but learning what you don't want.
What you don't. Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you talk about your engineering career, my head goes straight to the maraca. And I give you so much credit because that was just so not fun for that summer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, there's definitely levels to it that are not the most fun thing in the world. And so to me, I'm very I appreciate the fact that I can do it because I like to do it for myself and for the music that we make together. But definitely when I was engineering for other people, I definitely saw it as a day job. You know? I'm grateful that it was still in music, but it was definitely not what I was trying to do.
I just want to put it out there. As I've gotten older, I have a deep appreciation for mariachi music now, more so than I ever did.
Yes.
But at the time, it was just not my dream gig.
You're like, do you realize there's an engineer that has to move the mic for everything, including the maracas? It's so much more detailed than you think.
That's one of the reasons why I ask a lot of these behind the scenes questions on the show, because people that love music, people that are defined by the songs they were listening to at that point in their life, music people are music people. And when I have artists on the show, whether they be sound engineers or guitar techs or drum, whatever it is, for most of us, we don't understand the work and all of the people that are involved in making that record that we get, that we hold so dear. And it's fascinating to hear every job that's involved with making the music that is the soundtrack to our lives that we all live by. And so to work in a recording studio and to be that person literally recording these artists and have no emotional connection to it, but just to look at it like, this is my job. I'm in the studio. I'm going to record other people's music. But now for you to be in your own project, passionate about the music you make, it's like a full circle thing.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. And, I could tell you have a real passion and appreciation for all of it from 0 to 100. And I appreciate that about you, and your questions are incredible, and it's taken me down some really great memory lanes.
So tell me how the concept, you guys meet in 2010 in Vegas, you start working on some projects together. obviously everybody has their pandemic story. And so what drugs were you on? What were you drinking? Who came up with guns and toilet paper? Where did this come from? Because I have a really hard time believing this was a sober idea.
Tequila could be blamed for a good portion of it, I would say.
Yeah. Casa Azul, Ultra Casa Azul, the black bottle, had a lot of inspiration. But also our band member Triple Sixx, he's a great poet. And, we were going through a time where for whatever reason, people, had to shit a lot more and they wanted to be more safe with guns. So they cleared out all the toilet paper and all the guns. Strange enough, everybody I don't know if it was the virus that was giving everybody diarrhea, but for whatever reason, toilet paper became like gold. You know what I'm saying? It's like real sought after. And our band member Triple Sixx wrote a poem about it. And me and Sasha both thought, I was like, yo, this would be a crazy rock song. And then a light bulb came on and was like, wait, we should just name our band Guns and Toilet Paper. And that was the first song that we ever cut, was Guns and Toilet Paper. And, it was definitely inspired by the pandemic. I appreciate the pandemic because I don't think we would have a rock band if COVID wasn't created and released. I blame COVID for Guns and Toilet Paper. And it allowed us to have that time. It allowed us to drink that amount of tequila in Geneva and France and Cannes, to be able to just keep recording. Because I think we cut the album, for real, we cut the majority of it in about 5 days, right? 6 days.
All the vocals, yeah. Yep.
All the vocals, yeah. So we went in and, that it was that poem, Guns and Toilet Paper, that got everything going. So thanks to COVID, thank you, COVID.
And tequila.
Whoever, creators. And thank you, COVID and tequila. Same time.
Triple Sixx.
Yep. We owe you.
Has anybody ever done a scientific chemical analysis on tequila to figure out why it is? Because for me, there's a line where I'm all about the tequila, and then I have that one extra drink, and I am just full on into committing a felony. The horns sprout out of my... What is it about tequila?
I don't know. I think it's amazing that you were about to say toilet paper instead of tequila when you started that sentence. So
that was dope. Yeah.
Well, I've been a doomsday prepper for a long time, living kind of in the woods and whatever, just because when you grow up in New England, this isn't something you experienced, but you know, when you grow up in New England, the weather changes on a dime, and you could get a hurricane in the middle of the summer and a blizzard in the middle of the winter, and either way you lost power, and you just, New Englanders are hardy people that are kind of prepared for everything. And so it's not that I was worried about zombies. It was just worried about storms and whatever and being prepared. And out of all of the things I had stockpiled in my basement, I never worried about toilet paper.
No, it's weird.
Because I just figured there's plenty of stuff you can wipe your ass with. Like, you're better off spending your money on other things you can't live without.
Yeah, it was weird. That whole movement was weird. Thank God for it, because we wouldn't be a band. We wouldn't be here right now answering these amazing questions from you. So, definitely.
I think that was part of it was like just the absurdity of it. I think that's definitely what inspired it. It was just like what is happening right now? Like, why are the shelves that are supposed to be full of toilet paper completely empty right now? It's just completely insane.
Yeah, and all the guns were gone and ammunition. Like, they were ready for war, for a bunch, like a shitty warfare. I think it was gonna, in everybody's minds, like, as long as we could clean ourselves and protect ourselves, I think everybody just kind of went there and locked.
That's all you need.
Yeah, don't worry about the clean water. Don't worry about food.
No food.
Medical supplies. Don't worry about any of that.
Just toilet paper and guns.
You go from being drunk on tequila and coming up with the concept. There's that part of it. At some point, you have to involve the outside world in this concept.
Yeah.
What was the response when you started talking to your musical friends? Because you guys have already established a really successful musical career. A, was there a worry that if you said it out loud to your friends, they would think you were batshit crazy? And B, who's the person that was like, oh, we're getting a record deal for that?
Answer that question, Sasha.
Well, I mean, I think that our friends have been well aware that we're batshit crazy for a long time. First of all,
sure.
Yeah. So I would say that, and then getting it released was just something that we did in house, and because I think shopping this particular idea to record labels might not have been that fruitful, but record labels these days, it's hit or miss anyway. They're not, what are they doing really?
Yeah, so we were able to put this music out independently on our own, and definitely I feel like because of that, we were able to support it and not have to worry about a label not getting or understanding our vision, and it just made it easier for us. I know my wife thought I was crazy when I told her I was going to Geneva to do a rock album. She's just like, why? And I was just like, because it's just a genre that I haven't been a part of, and I want to go down and I want to look back at my career as a songwriter producer and be able to say, I successfully was a part of every genre that at least counts. There's genres that I feel like don't really matter, but at the same time, I just wanted that to be a part of my history. And I've always loved rock music from the time I was able to listen to it. And I always wanted to, try it out, man, just to see if we could make something that we genuinely loved and were brutally honest about. But my wife thought I was crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, why?
I might be a little jaded because it's the genre of music that I work in every day. But rock music has been cyclical, right? Obviously, there was a high point in the early to mid 90s. And then the new metal era with the Korns and Limp Bizkits and Rage Against the Machines and Linkin Parks, which that's when I started my radio career on the air. So that was a whole other thing. But rock music has always kind of had its ebbs and flows. Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're climbing a hill again in creativity in rock music, because it seems like there's this whole new breath of fresh air and this diversity in rock music, and dare I say, women stepping up and kind of taking a lot of the rock crown. For somebody like me that's been waiting for this for decades, it's super exciting. But do you guys feel that, this new breath of fresh air in rock music?
I mean, absolutely. Definitely. And with any luck, we'll be part of that conversation.
Well, you already are.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like rock. I just feel like everything is in cycles in music with clothing. It's like this 20-year cycle. And I feel like, just like bell bottoms, which I'm never going to be a fan of no matter what, when they come back. But I just feel like rock music it's back right now. And I feel like when you look at the charts and you look at the radio, it's definitely, I feel like for females, I feel like they're coming to stick it. They're standing out in every genre right now. Like we've never had, it was a 25-year hiatus of female rappers, until recently. Now they're running the world. So I feel like women in general are just finally starting to, get more respect and get more shine, more, more face time. And I feel like it was a natural progression just for women to be able to like stick out in a genre that quote unquote was, basically ran by men. So I think it was a natural progression. And I just feel like rock music definitely is coming back with it's a new breath of fresh air. Just even the way we approach this album, it's not your typical rock album. We definitely included rock elements like electric guitar and all those things, but the melodies, the soul, the poetry, I feel like it's a whole new approach at rock. So it's cool. I feel like it's naturally time for rock and country to start shining more naturally now.
And that line is blurring more and more with artists like Hardy and Jelly Roll.
It's like, wait, is this rock or country? It's like a whole new sound. So it was just a matter of time, I feel like, before this happened. So I'm happy to be a part of this new breath of fresh air with guns and toilet paper.
You know that things are changing when Missy Elliott gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A pioneer, like it's about freaking time.
And Jay-Z, like, wait, wait a minute, they don't have a rap Hall of Fame? It's weird. So I guess, it's just rock was always the cool, I'm a rock star. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, even if you're a rapper or whatever, it was always the coolest thing to be like, yo, I'm a rock star.
Even Dolly Parton's releasing a rock record.
Yeah, it's the end of the world for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dolly, I didn't even know Dolly was coming. I'm scared now. She's amazing.
She literally has got rock stars stacked up like cordwood on this record. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Nobody says no to Dolly.
No, she's a great songwriter, one of the greatest songwriters of all time, I feel like.
Yep.
Well, Smoke and Mirrors is the record, and as is the tradition, you release a record, and then you take it out on the road. Can you guys take this on the road? Is the tour coming?
There's absolutely shows being lined up, a radio tour coming. Like, we are for sure going to go out there and make sure that these songs are heard live, because nothing is better than live music.
Yes, and we're coming to a toilet near you real soon.
Don't forget to flush.
Can you stuff Tommy Lee in a duffel bag? Are you going to be able to get him off the road with Motley Crue?
We've talked about this with him, and his touring lasts forever. So every time he sends us a schedule, it's like, well, we're doing this continent. You know what I'm saying? All the stadiums. And I'm like, well, if you got time, you know what I'm saying? Maybe come do a show with us. So, we hope to have him, be able to come and do some dates. It's amazing that we can even have these conversations with him, and this even be like a actual chance. But yeah, we hope to be able to get him on some shows with us, and we're definitely coming to the toilet near you for sure.
Yeah, we are working on perfecting cloning though, so there's a chance that you might be seeing a Tommy Lee clone. I can't really talk about it too much.
AI, we can't talk about it, but AI is involved.
Well, listen, like we talked about before, you got to be careful about which version of Tommy you bring back, because if you bring 1985 Tommy back, your tour might not survive.
No, we got to bring back like the most recent Tommy.
That's the perfecting part.
Yeah, what Tommy evolved into. That's the part. That part. Yeah.
I always ask songwriters this question that come on the show because, like I said before, I'm such a fan of the craft. And so any music fan can be asked about favorite songs, the albums on a deserted island, but that's not what this question is. Can you guys give me an example of a song you think is perfectly crafted from any genre, any artist, but looking at it from a songwriter's perspective? Give me a song that is so perfectly crafted that you covet it and wish you wrote it yourself. Then you got to tell me why.
Oh, man. I got mine already, Sasha.
Oh, go.
Alanis Morissette, Isn't It Ironic? That song to me, word for word, metaphor for metaphor, irony, ironic metaphors, to me, just hands down was brilliant. And I feel like I wish I would have wrote just 25% of that song. Like, even 5%, just because lyrically it's so like a free ride and you already paid. Like, come on, who says that? Nobody said anything remotely close to like those lyrics on Ironic, on even that whole album, Jagged Little Pill. Like, for me, just lyrically, melodically, she was in her own world, and it was like, it raised the bar for songwriting for me as a songwriter. So I would say Ironic by Alanis Morissette.
Well, having a point or two on Jagged Little Pill wouldn't suck. I mean,
oh my God.
It's down as one of the greatest debut albums in all of rock history. It's a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the greatest debut album of music history. I mean,
I think so. She did 16 million back then. I'm sure it's probably
there's
25
Appetite
million.
for Destruction, Hybrid Theory. There's some good ones out there, but she's in the conversation.
Right.
Yes, like song for song, lyric for like just across the board. Even her live performance and her sound was so unique. Her tone was so unique and distinctive. I miss her. Like I wish that she could give us more to the universe. So put that there. Like, come back, Alanis.
And a defining moment for women in rock too. To go back to what we were talking about, like she stopped everybody in their tracks.
Yes. Yeah, and I think she set the blueprint, which I think Pink came in on her second album, like after Can't Take Me Home, her second album, I feel like it kind of took that where Alanis was going, and with I'm Coming Out and those records, those rock records, I think Pink had a kind of grabbed the baton a bit from Alanis Morissette. I can't really think of any other female artist that took it to that level and sold that had that impact on our universe outside of Pink and Alanis.
I can hear people in the comments
Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
Avril Lavigne. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah. And I think Avril kind of took it from Pink. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. There was that.
Yeah, it was it was Alanis and then Pink and then Avril. And then now we just need them all to come back. I would like for all of them to come back, with rock music. Yes.
I can hear people in the comments saying, don't forget Pearl Jam 10. Greatest debut albums ever.
Pearl Jam 10. Oh, my God. Yeah. Pearl Jam was amazing. Absolutely. Sorry, Pearl Jam. We did not mean to leave you out on purpose. Sorry.
Not intentional.
We love you, Pearl Jam.
What about you? We gave you enough time to think about it. There's got to be one.
I know. I'm going to have to say Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney.
Oh, come on.
No, okay. I was torn between two. I'm gonna have to say maybe like Heart Shaped Box by Nirvana. Absolutely incredible. But then like, how do you not just say like Bohemian Rhapsody? I mean, that's just crazy.
Wow.
Is that cliche to just like throw that out there? I mean, Jesus.
Some other artists have said that on the show, but it warrants repeating because that song violates every rule for a successful hit pop radio song. Like it literally threw the rule book out the window.
Completely. Yes. And just like the craftsmanship of it, the performance of it, all of it is unbelievable. It's just crazy. Like, cliche or not. Like, and then the fact that the song like that is cliche to answer a question like this too is, it speaks to exactly what you're talking about. Like how it's insane.
Yeah, no, there's never been anything remotely close to that song since then, especially not on the radio. Like that was like a album cut, back then with all those chord changes. It's like, wait, we're going to lose the listeners. So yes, they broke every rule. Like, yes, that's a good one, Sasha.
And it's arguably bigger as a radio hit now than it ever was when it came out.
Right. You know what? Yes, I can see that after being in so many movies and so many syncs. Yes. Yep.
Right. But then, and then I'm gonna also say Yesterday, because I know you asked for one question or one song, but
Yesterday by the Beatles. Come on, that's amazing. Yeah.
The Beatles come up all the time on this show. They're my favorite rock band of all time, so I welcome it. And what always amazes me and every other artist that brings them up is not the library of music, not the list of amazing songs, but the fact that they all came out in like 7.5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they didn't just write and rewrite and change all of musical history. They did it in their 20s in 7.5 years, where artists like Tool, like they didn't release one album in 7.5 years. The Beatles released all of them.
Yeah. That's massive.
Yeah. Aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Paul McCartney is an alien?
I mean, we're all aliens to somebody.
It's true.
I think Paul McCartney. I think all of them. Yeah, I think they all have all been aliens. And John Lennon for sure. He was definitely strange in the best way.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
I think all of us are strange in the best way. You guys included, considering you're in a band called Guns and Toilet Paper.
I'll take it.
Yes, thank you for saying
it's a compliment. Thank you.
It is a compliment. It's 100% a compliment. Well, I was so excited when I found out I was going to talk to you guys because I knew that you were going to meet every expectation, and you have. I think it's so hilarious and would be so quick for people to see it as a novelty and not see the craft behind it. But knowing the talent and powerhouse and experience, multi-genre experience that has collided into this project, it's kind of undeniable, which is hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And the fact that you ripped off Tropic Thunder for the video.
Yeah.
You got it.
I love that movie. Yeah, man. Yeah,
unbelievable movie.
Yes.
That would have everybody in it canceled if it came out today.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You can always tell someone's sense of humor based on whether or not they think that movie is funny or insulting.
Right.
That's amazing. That was a brilliant writing. Like, everybody in there crushed their roles. It was amazing acting. I felt like it should have got way more recognition than it did. You know?
Well, Robert Downey Jr. got nominated for an Academy Award for it.
Yeah, I mean, he played a black guy. He crushed that. Like, I mean, he definitely, went beyond over and beyond that role.
Correction,
that,
he played a white guy playing a black guy.
He played a white guy playing a black guy. That's deep. That's layers. That's like Inception. It's like layers. That's brilliant. That's why they nominated him. You can't. Who does that? Nobody's done it since then, or did it before that. So,
and somebody at some point had to sit down across a table like you did and pitch it.
Right.
And throw it out there. And somebody had to be crazy enough to invest in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw him on an interview talking about it, and he was like, my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
He caught some backlash like last year about it. Weird enough, like, he just finally caught some backlash a year ago about it. After all these years, it was like, it's too late, guys. You can't say anything now. You missed your window.
Yeah. You don't get to be insulted after the fact. It's already out there.
Right.
No.
What's the statute of limitations on, like, insults?
Correct. There's statutes on that. Yeah, it's like 70 years. Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Max.
Well, when you guys decide to schedule a tour and you come into New England, there is a bottle of tequila waiting for you guys with me. I can't wait to meet you.
Oh, likewise.
We're gonna
Thank you so much.
We're gonna bring our own bottle and match it with you, so we could have double the fun.
I'm waiting for it. I'm just warning you. You're probably gonna end up in jail with me, but it'll make for a great song.
You know somebody that knows somebody. You know what I'm saying? They could get us. You know what I'm saying? Get us out and get it expunged.
I got a couple of friends.
Jail has the worst toilet paper, so I don't know. I might skip it.
That's why I keep a thing of wet wipes in my purse, because you never know.
Yes, wet wipes are life. Yes, absolutely. Wet wipes are amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for your time today. It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Chris, you did an amazing interviewing job. You asked us questions we've never been asked before, and I appreciate that. It was very refreshing.
Yes.
So thank you. Yeah.
There they are, Sasha Sirota and Jason Paul, otherwise known as GXTP. Their new album, Smoke and Mirrors, is available now. And if you check the show notes of this episode, you can find the link to the single Contraband, featuring the one and only Tommy Lee. You'll also find all the links to find GXTP online, and all the Mistress Carrie links, and the link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep, which is all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. You can join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on my official Facebook page for my live streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And of course, you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all that and more at MistressCarrie.com. And don't forget to check off some of the people on your shopping list in the online Mistress Carrie store. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.
Right now at Safeway, earn 4 times rewards points when you shop for participating items with Safeway for you. Shop for items like Ready Whip Whipped Cream, Deer Park Natural Spring Water, Dan and Danimals Drinks, Philadelphia Cream Cheese, and 7-Up. To earn 4 times rewards points with Safeway for you. Offer expires January 4th. Plus, get select holiday essentials like gift wraps, bags, holiday decor, lights, and more. Buy one, get one 50% off. Restrictions apply. Promotions may vary. Visit Safeway.com or head in store for full offer details.
Permit me here and now to promise as a good comrade and a fellow artist but I will not report any of this, whatever it is, to the police.
What would you say you do here?
Hey, Troy.
Abandoned Albums is a podcast that employs a deep bench of musical archivists. These determined individuals dig through the record crates of the world to find the lost music of artists. Using a patent-pending algorithm and spirited debate, we pick one album as an inroad to talk about and then reach out to the artists. We invite them into Thunderlove Studio. When we're lucky, they say yes. Abandoned Albums is a little like this.
That was TNUC by Grand Funk Railroad. And I spelled the word backward in my head, and I immediately went out and bought the record.
They're like, do you know who we are? And we were like, I mean, kind of.
Well, you're in blue. Of course we know you.
Yeah, you're blue.
Yeah, you're blue, you're man.
Abandoned Albums isn't about the show, and it's not about the host or hosts. It's about the artist's work and making sure it remains, or in some cases, lands on, the cultural radar. It's why Abandoned Albums is the only music podcast that matters.
Wow, that was really, really enjoyable. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Abandoned Albums is a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.